Now, I know this is a comic book channel. Before you sports fans out there, do you remember when Derrick Henry just took Josh Norman and threw him out of bounds so hard that he was parallel with the field? I remember watching that and saying, holy. Well, we have a holy moment in this comic book, and I can't wait to get to it. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Dorian. This is SEM Comics, and we are covering the complete Fatal Attraction series. We already covered the first book, which was X Factor number 92. Link will be in the description. Now we're covering X Force number 25. So it starts off with this shadowy figure looking at this computer screen with all these different mutants on the screen, and it looks like they're mutants from all the different X teams: X-Men, X-Force, Excalibur, X Factor. And also on this page they got something extremely useful. They got the complete roster of X-Force. You got Cannonball, who's the leader. You got Boomer, Feral, Warpath, Richter, Shatterstar, Siren, and Sunspot. Now, for all you old heads like me, I know what you're thinking right now. Where's Cable? We're going to get to that. So now X-Force just got back from a mission, and they're talking about how two of their comrades have been brainwashed by Strife. Now, if you don't know who that is, we'll get into it later on in the comics. And again, you see this shadowy figure looking on them. Now, for our old heads, we know who this is. And then there's detection of an intruder. So they decide to break up into teams of two to go deal with the intruder. And the intruder just starts taking them out. First, he took out Warpath and Siren. Next, he took out Richter and Sunspot. Then he took out Feral and Shatterstar. But then Sam, Cannonball, gets a jump on him, and he drops his gun. And then as soon as Cannonball sees the gun and he sees what's written on it, which is Ouchmaker, he knows obviously who this is, and it's Cable. Now, some people are happy to see him, like Boomer, and then some people, like Sunspot, wish he stayed gone. Sam's kind of in the middle. Sam kind of really doesn't know whether he's happy to see him or he's ready to see him gone. But Cable starts to explain himself, how when he first formed the team, he trained them in like a really cold military fashion, how he didn't really befriend them. He didn't trust them with anything, didn't tell them about his past or anything like that. But he said he learned this lesson and he's going to change. And it seems like the team is started to accept him back. So a little bit of time passes by and the team is discussing about what they need to do about Rusty and Skids. Now, Rusty and Skid were on a run from Freedom Force. Now, I know most of you are probably saying, what is Freedom Force? All right, so X Factor is X-Men that are pretty much ran by the government. Freedom Force is the exact opposite. They're the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants that are ran by the government. As long as they follow the government orders, they will be pardoned for all the craziness that they did in the past. And to get away from Freedom Force, they joined the Mutant Liberation Front, which was ran by Strife, who is a exact clone of Cable. And since we're on the subject, let me take this opportunity to try to finally put some respect on Cable's name. So to give a quick rundown on Strife's powers, he has superhuman strength and he has durability, but he mostly uses his telekinesis and his telepathy, and it's Omega level. I mean, he's on the same level as Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Exodus. I mean, he's a beast.
Certified. Put a stamp on it.
And the only reason why Cable's not on the same level is because when he was a baby, Apocalypse affected him with the techno-organic virus, and he has to use most of his power to keep that at bay. That's why he's half machine. And all it takes is one writer to come up with a cure for a techno-organic virus, and now Cable's Omega level. I mean, we kind of saw that with the Age of Apocalypse. X-Man is pretty much Cable without the techno-organic virus, and he was Mutant Jesus. Thank you for letting me go on a rant. Now back to the comic. So when they joined the Mutant Liberation Front, Strife pretty much put a device in their head to brainwash them and mind control them, and they don't know how to get that out of their head. Cable knows how. He doesn't have the technology in his timeline to do it. So Sam is still having some trust issues with Cable, and Cable pretty much lays everything out for him. I mean, if you didn't know anything about Cable, this was a comic book to pick up. He says how his name is Nathan Daysprings. He says how he is the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, who is the exact clone of Jean Grey. He says how this mutant woman, Askani, took him 1,000 years into the future. He explains how he got infected with the techno-organic virus. He also explains how Strife is as that clone of him, and how he came to this timeline to try to prevent the war that they lost in the future. So as soon as he explains all that, the alarms go off. There's an intruder on the base. So they go to find out who it is, and it is Exodus. and he just starts beating everybody down. Like I said before, he's an Omega level mutant. So then after he thoroughly beat everybody down, he goes, oh, I didn't really come to fight. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I couldn't tell. And he's there because he wants to recruit Sam and Sunspot because they used to be on the New Mutants. And Sam's like, okay, we'll go with you, but we'll go only if we can also take Boomer and Richter. And X is like, well, they weren't really requested, but whatever, then end this. Come on, let's go. So then Exodus takes him to the space station that's called Avalon. And Sam and them, as soon as they get there, they know, they're like, this is Graymalkin, which Graymalkin is the time traveling spaceship that Cable used to come back to this timeline. And they're like, well, why are you calling it Avalon? And Exodus is like, because the Messiah is calling it Avalon. Now, for all you old school X-Men fans, we know there's only one person that was called the Messiah. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that Exodus also took Rusty and Skids. So then right on cue, a cloak figure appears and he starts explaining how they are a part of his chosen few that's going to survive the oncoming destruction that's about to happen to the Earth and humanity, and how mutants will be protected, but not all mutants will be protected. So then he turns to Rusty and Skid and he explains how he knows what Strife did to him and he can heal them. And he puts his hands on her head and he goes, the iron flow in your blood is blocked. Who else talks like that? And then he does some things and then boom, the mind control device is gone and they're cured. So then Cable and the rest of X-Force obviously followed them to Avalon. And as soon as they get up there, he sees that it's his old ship and he's shocked because last time he seen that ship, it was crashing into the Pacific Ocean. So obviously the Messiah knows that they're coming. And he tells Exodus to pretty much take care of business and he just walks off. So the fight's going a little bit better this time for X-Force. They're getting some hits in, but this is Exodus, so they're still losing. But it wasn't Cable's intention to beat Exodus. He knows he couldn't beat Exodus. He was just trying to buy enough time to get to the professor, who is the AI of the ship, and he sets it up to where the whole team gets body slide out of there. That's pretty much means they get teleported out of the ship. Everybody except for Rusty and Skid, because Rusty and Skid said they want to stay. So then Cable also stays because he's trying to figure out a way to take the AI with him. And so then Exodus is about to handle him, and then all of a sudden all you hear his voice says, no, I got this. And Magneto in full garb shows up, which, I mean, obviously there was enough clues to show that it was Magneto. So they get to fighting and it's going exactly how you think it would go. I mean, Magneto's pretty much mopping the floor with Cable, but Cable does manage to download the AI, and then right when he's about to take off, Magneto just goes, you know, I've always been your fatal attraction and you're going to pay for taking away my children away from me. And he just turns his metal side, the techno-organic virus side, inside out. I mean, he's just decimated. Just all the pieces are pretty much showing. It's gruesome. So then Magneto is still talking to him, and Cable goes to say something, is faint, and then Magneto turns to him and was like, how are you still alive? So before he got decimated, he was able to set it up to where the AI would bite slide him out of there, and he gets teleported to the X-Force ship, and they look at him and they're like, oh my god, if he's still alive, we gotta go straight to the medical bay. So the comic book ends with Magneto talking to Exodus and Rusty and Skid, pretty much saying that they ain't playing no more games. They're about to start taking people out. Man, I love 90s X-Men comics. If you want to find out what happened in X Factor number 92, you just click on the screen. Also, if you're a DC fan, we are covering complete Superman, Batman, World Finest series. Playlist is on the screen. Thank you, SCM Nation, for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.